On this episode of AV Week, we talk with Frank Culotta of Simcoe, Mark McGinnis of Westbury National, and Gina Sansivero from FSR. We are live from the AV Executive Conference 2015. We talk about how the industry is doing this very conference and a lot more. So stay tuned. All that and more next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
AV Week is brought to you by our fine group of underwriters, companies like HD Base T. This is AV Week, episode 222, recorded Friday, November 20th, 2015. The AV Executive Conference, Part 1.
Ready.
AV Week.
Performing scan.
Week.
Online.
This is AV Week. AV Week.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audio-visual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. We're doing it live today from the AV Executive Conference at Amelia Island in Florida. This is InfoComm's annual event. It's a business leadership conference for what I would call C-level executives. We're going to do a couple different roundtables here. With us first is Frank Culotta from Simcoe. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Also is our buddy Brock McGinnis from Westbury National. Welcome, sir.
Good day.
Good day. And Gina Sansivero from FSR.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go around the table a little bit. Frank, were you at last year's AVEC?
Yes, I was.
So I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to get the newbies' point of view. Compare last year's AVEC to this year's, if you would.
Since AVEC started, and I've been to all, this is the third, and before that was derived out of the InfoComm 100. Everyone's been asking for true takeaways, true tools that they can use to apply to their businesses, not just a rehashing of the problems that we're experiencing. And this year, I think we finally turned a corner and are providing tools and assets and relationships and conversations and networking that's actually helping the attendees walk away with true value, where in years past they walked away with a clear impression of the questions, but not necessarily as many of the tools.
Wow, okay. Brock, from your perspective, you're a first timer here at AVEC. What is your initial reaction to the event?
Very, very impressed. I have not been able to attend the previous ones. I've been a long-time attendee at NSCA's Business and Leadership Conference.
Yep.
Have always said that was the best event that I attended each year. Now I have two best events to attend. Because I agree with you, Frank, the takeaways from this were fantastic. And of course, for a number of us who've been in the AV industry for probably too long, for a few years, it's like coming to camp. The networking opportunities, the chance to see old friends, to find out what is working with my peers in the industry, what's not working, trends that are occurring in other markets that we're not seeing in our market yet. Absolutely fabulous use of time and money.
All right, and Gina, from a manufacturer's standpoint, and also a first-timer?
So from a manufacturer's standpoint, I think that it's really important for us to support these types of events for our relationships with our dealers and the integrators, the consultants, the distribution channels. I think that FSR has always been a really big supporter of industry professional development, I guess you could say. From a personal standpoint, one of my favorite events that I've ever been to in the industry was probably the InfoComm 100 in 2011, which was where Brock and I had met. And there were some really great takeaways from that. And it wasn't only relationship-based, which was probably my number one takeaway from that, but it was just listening to the productive kind of communication coming from the C-levels. It's not about complaining about what's going on. It's not about competition. It's more about let's bring up the issues and see how we can solve them. This is something similar. We weren't talking specifically about industry issues as we were at the InfoComm 100, but we were really talking about business issues, everyday business issues, and those takeaways for helping our businesses to grow into the future from not only a technology standpoint, but from a business standpoint was really, I think, energizing. And the energy that we felt just saying goodbye to everybody today and walking out that door was just an energy of, okay, how quick can I get back to my office and start talking to my team and onboarding my team with all of this new information that's stuck in my head.
Yeah. Well, Frank, talk about that for a second. How do you take this back on Monday and Tuesday and throughout the next week when this is we are sitting in these conferences and we are getting some great takeaways, but how do you instill that excitement that Gina has right now?
I was thinking the same thing. I think I'll take Gina back. I think many business leaders run into the same issue when they have what they think is the right vision, getting the people on their team behind them to follow that vision and to follow it as aggressively and as impassioned as you state. Probably the things I'll go back with the most are some of the things that Leo and Joe shared with us, because what I found is that I keep having to touch a subject with my team multiple times, and little by little, the ship turns.
Yep.
So I think this will be a few big tools that will help the ship continue to turn. We're already, almost in the right direction, and I think what I'll take home is the statistics, the conversations I had, the things I learned, and which pretty much validate the things we've been trying to instill in the company for years. And hopefully with this last push, we'll be solidly on track.
Oh, well. Brock, you and I go to a lot of the same conferences, but give me one or two things that I'm not going to say that InfoComm didn't do correctly, just some things that maybe you would change or you would do different at this conference.
Dead silence.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
All right.
I've got one.
What?
Okay, well...
As an aging gentleman, I need bigger names on the badges so that I can actually see who I'm speaking with.
What I would like to talk about are some of the things that InfoComm has done well or better than many of the conferences that I attended. I loved the stand-up food station approach to meals. It encouraged us to mingle and connect and interact and circulate, as opposed to being stuck, at a table with the same group for a couple of hours. I say a couple of hours because most conferences also deliver programming at mealtime. I loved that InfoComm did not attempt to deliver programming at meals. The networking amongst us and the information and the value and the energy that we get from each other is one of the biggest takeaways of this event for sure. I loved having a professional MC, Mark Jeffries, who in his homeland in the UK would be called a compere, did an amazing job of facilitating, announcing, keeping the discussions moving, entertaining us at the same time. I think too often, we rely on association employees who weren't really hired for that kind of role, and they're drier and they're businesslike, and Mark kept us smiling and kept us together and kept us focused and really made it move along. I love the group homework exercise. Have always been a strong proponent of roundtable discussions. This was in a lighter vein. We all had a lot of fun with the group homework, and David Labuscus delivered the best State of the Association address that I've ever heard this morning. The changes that are being made at InfoComm now, the reorientation towards a focus on the member, and that InfoComm as an organization is going to deliver to their customers what their customers need, is a message of tremendous hope for me. There are significant changes underway, and I think they're all good. I'm really glad I came.
I'm not going to say shocked, but I'm taken aback by you saying the best state of the industry speech you've ever heard. It was good, absolutely. It was good. Are you talking about the content? And
content.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm not talking about all singing, all dancing. David's a very effective presenter.
Absolutely.
And somebody put a few decent PowerPoint slides together, but no, I'm talking about the message, not the medium.
Yeah.
And the message was very positive for all of us as consumers of what InfoComm provides to us as manufacturers, integrators, live event consultants. They have many constituents, many people they have to keep happy. and it would appear that their board and their rejigged, rejuvenated senior staff are really moving in a great direction for the industry.
All right. Frank, from your perspective, would you agree with Brock?
Absolutely. One of the things I was most pleased to see in Dave's recap was that they're reinstituting, or it's on the budget, has yet to be approved, but for 2016, but to reinstitute the councils, all the various councils of the different constituency types in the member base. I think it's overdue. I think they're going to do it right this time, and it's encouraging because, as Dave was clear to point out, we are an industry for our members, and to be for our members without a direct conduit from the different member types, I think has been holding us back from basically good to getting to great. And with what he's got planned, I think, as long as it gets approved, I think that's going to be a major step forward. To add to what Brock mentioned, as just a general more focus on the members themselves.
Absolutely. Gina, we're turning it from AVEC here and more to the industry in general, a little bit about what Dave spoke about. Where are we at the end of this year economically or industry-wise? A number of people have said that they think that we're heading out of the woods, as it were, economically, and different projects that are coming to fruition. So from your standpoint, from a manufacturing standpoint, where do you see us?
Well, I specifically focus on education and mostly higher ed for FSR. So what I've seen as far as projects in the higher ed arena is that there's been a little bit of, believe it or not, pullback on some larger projects. And the reason why I say that is because in 2008, 2009, when we had that real big drop off in the economy, a lot of people were laid off and a lot of people went back to school. Schools were inundated with new students. They were building. Now what we're seeing is that they're doing a real assessment of their needs-based building. So it's really what is required at this point, not what's fluffy and going to kind of add to our campus. And we're finding, as far as needs-based and as far as what's revenue-based for colleges are residence halls. So we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in residence halls buildings. We're seeing a little bit of pullback on some of the other buildings. We're seeing what's called adaptive reuse. So utilizing existing structures rather than new structures. So libraries are largely digitized now. What are you going to do with some of those library spaces that housed racks of books? Well, they're turning them into digital spaces, maker spaces. They're turning them into a real forum or a student union, almost gathering space for students. So we're seeing this whole idea of utilizing what they have in new ways and in unique ways. And I see a little bit more construction push in certain states. Texas has a big construction push now. Colorado has a big construction push now in higher ed. So the Midwest, we saw a really big construction push within the last couple of years in the Northeast. I think we're going to see that kind of pull back a little bit. From our standpoint as a company, FSR has never been stronger. We are really well positioned to continue our growth this year. We're introducing a ton of new products, including what we just announced last week was our new FSR Connect Track, which is a wireway system for the floor and the walls. So just kind of pulling our expertise into new arenas like we've done, I think really positions us well for the future.
Okay. Brock.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate Brock's winning team. They were the homework group that won the homework challenge, and I'd say it was well done. His company was called Buccaneer.
Buccaneer, our mateys.
And it was a pirate-based airline, right? So congratulations, Brock.
Oh my.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. From your standpoint, not just a Canadian company, but also an integrator, where do you see the industry?
We continue to be, very positive about business opportunities, and I've said before, and will continue to say, this is an awesome time to be in the AV business. Everybody needs the products and the services that we provide. They don't just want them, they need them. They cannot conduct their business, their education, their collaboration, their short distance and long distance communication without us.
Yeah.
More and more we're seeing a need for simplicity on the system side and more services and training and support monitoring on to make their lives as facility operators or IT departments, technology managers, to make their lives easier. Nobody has extra money for headcount. And so we become an outsourced headcount, and as outsourced service suppliers. And the more that we position ourselves for our expertise rather than our equipment, and the services that we provide, and not just provide to the facility manager or the IT manager, but provide to the end user to make their jobs as simple as possible, to make technology invisible or transparent, so that they're using what we supply and install to do their jobs easier, better, faster, shorten some of the decision-making cycles. It's phenomenal, and the partnerships that we've been able to evolve, both with manufacturers and customers, in delivering. I wouldn't say they're all exceptional experiences, but they're simple to use, and they're concentrating on familiar interfaces, familiar devices, and taking the stress away from starting a meeting. And it's all about getting that meeting, that class, that video conference started as quickly as possible, to waste as little time as possible, and allow people to do what it is they do. And that's our job. We provide the technology and the services that allow others to inform, to collaborate, to educate, to entertain. It's a brilliant time to be in the AV business.
It is indeed.
Can I ask a question? You mentioned actually talking to not only the tech managers, IT managers, but you're talking to the end users.
Correct.
How often do you have access to end users?
Whenever possible, when we're engaged to design audiovisual for a new facility, we seek out user groups to get their priorities. And they, of course, don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what's possible. So part of that is an education process. But part of it is also understanding how they do their business and how they do their work. We can't impose a new order of work on an employee or on users successfully. They will simply not use the equipment if it's not the way that they want to use the equipment. Yes. So let's find out what they do, how they do it, and start suggesting that maybe they'd like to do this a little better or a little differently, and would they like to try something with a pilot room? Before you go out and buy 25 interactive boards, would you like to have a couple of people trained up and start to use them regularly? And then you can decide culturally whether an interactive board actually works with your organization, because we walk into so many rooms with legacy interactive systems, I won't name the manufacturer, that haven't been used for years.
It's very smart of you.
Well, it's nice to have
you.
a champion for a system from the inside, because you can be a champion,
Oh my
right?
gosh, yes.
But to have a person who actually works in that company, institution, whatever it might be, to be a champion for a change is
And there are some great changes. There are audio conferencing devices now, and they're just coming to market, that allow people to use their cell phone as the initiating phone. Mm-hmm. Not the complicated conference phone, not dialing into a bridge, but the cell phone that they know and they love and they use every day and has all their contacts in, is connecting to a speaker via Bluetooth that they know how to pair. Yeah. 5 years ago, they didn't know how to pair it, but now everybody knows how to pair with Bluetooth. I think things like that are brilliant. Would I rather sell a $41,000 fixed microphone audio conferencing system than a $500 Bluetooth conference phone? Yes, but I can do 50 rooms with Bluetooth conference phones that make people very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that right there, that customer experience. I mean, I would take exception that where you said that maybe they're not all exceptional experiences. They are if that's what they need, right? If that simplicity is what they need, it's an exceptional experience, right? It may not have all the flashing lights and everything like that, but solving the customer's problem, that's the bottom line.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Frank, as we wrap up here, what is your overarching your forecast for the industry?
Forecast for the industry is change. It amazes me right now. Things are good, everyone's doing well, and I worry a little that people are doing things well the way they used to do them. But there is so much change happening. We just concluded our towards the year-end review, and we took our 5 territories and our top 10 counts in each territory and looked back 2 years and looked where it is now. We had a 44% turnover in top 10 accounts in our 5 regions.
Wow.
22 out of the 50 had turned over. What was more shocking, or not necessarily shocking, but interesting, is that a lot of the new top 10 contenders or members are from previously outside the industry. They're big IT VARs, they're big structural cable firms, they're big furniture integrators, they're general contractors, they're electrical engineering firms in some cases. There's a lot of people doing AV, and I think that speaks to the future. I don't think anyone that's getting into it now and doing it well and reaching our top 10 is going anywhere anytime soon. So the change is both an opportunity and a concern. Obviously, a concern that if we don't change with the partners and be valid and show our value and have those relationships that we need with the new partners, that we could be in trouble. At the same time, if we can do that right, it's a fantastic opportunity. So I think as long as everyone has their eyes wide open to what's actually happening, and it is happening. It used to be everything going to the network. That's long since happened. It used to be people trying to get in and get the traditional AV dealers business. That's long since happened as well. And the next change coming is I talked to a few people just in the last 2 days, said that their biggest 2 vendors next year weren't even vendors of theirs 2 years ago. Wow. Microsoft and Chromebooks. So these are large AV integrators. So if that's just another component of the change that's coming, new players both in the manufacturing sector, in the design sector with MEPs, in the products, in the integration sector with non-traditional AV integrators doing those integration projects. Again, a lot of opportunity, also a lot of concern that make sure we get it right and we are front and center for all their needs.
Yeah, all right. That's going to do it for this episode. Gina Sansivero from FSR, thank you.
Thank you so much.
How can people find you or FSR?
FSRinc.com, FSR.education, at Gina Sans on Twitter, LinkedIn, and
That's it. That's all you got?
I get at FSR_EDU, at FSR_INC. We have a bunch of ways to get in touch with us.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Mr. McGinnis, thank you so much, sir, as always.
Always a pleasure.
All right, how can people get a hold of you?
They can find me through our company, www.westbury.com, and at Brock McGinnis on Twitter. I'm going to put in a little bit of a plug for Movember. We've got about a week and a half to go. There are many of us here at the conference who are growing a little facial hair anyway, in an attempt to raise awareness and raise some funds for men's health issues, specifically prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and other things that make my skin crawl. And if you have not yet taken lunch money and donated that to Movember, I encourage you to do that today.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Frank, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed yourself. How can people get a hold of you or Simco?
My pleasure being here. Thank you so much. And easy to find us at www.simcoinc.com. It's SYMCOINC.com.
All right. And do you have a Twitter handle or a Facebook?
You know what? I have one, and I can't even tell you what it is.
Wow.
I know. Can you edit that out?
No. I'm leaving that in. I'm going to send you over the digital bar.
At I am a dinosaur.
All right, guys. Don't follow me, but go by the website, if you would please, AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others. Also, if you're interested in joining our newsletter, now you can text that information to us. Text AVNation, AVNation, all one word, to 22828. AVNation to 22828. 828. You can sign up for our newsletter that way. Go by the website and listen to a brand new Live, brand new EdTech, and a brand new State of Control. AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. That's all the time we have for AV Week.